हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, गुड मॉर्निंग. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ఎల్లరికూ వణకం. सबके लिए नमस्कार, namaskara. Today we're going to learn English for competitive exams. My name is Kashyapa and I'm going to be helping you learn English and crack those difficult questions in competitive exams like SSC, banks, etc. And today we're going to learn about active and passive voice. And active and passive voice is quite easy, but also very tricky. So you need to be very, very careful while answering these questions. So you need to pay a lot of attention to what I'm saying, what I'm teaching, what are the tricks, and what are the tricks that are going to be asked by the question paper maker. All right. So today I'm going to present you my PPT, and with my PPT we are going to start our class. And here we go. I'm going to share my PPT with you. All right. Yes, let's start the slideshow. All right. Let's go back. Okay. Active and passive voice by me, Kashyapa Madhuri. I'm from Andhra Pradesh, Tirupati. I can speak Telugu, Hindi, English, Tamil, and I can help you with your local language. If you are not able to understand my English or with the speed of my English, you can let me know and I can slow down my English so that you are able to understand. Or if you want me to speak with an accent, I can do that also. All right. So I can speak with accent also, but I would rather not speak with an accent. I would speak plainly like this. All right. This is a typical Indian accent. Okay. This is the typical Indian accent, and we do this nodding. All right. Let us go to our active and passive voice class today. So, what is the importance of active and passive voice in your SSC examinations and your bank examinations? Let us see what is the weightage here. Okay, our main focus is on SSC here, but the same syllabus applies for bank exams too, and also other competitive exams like RRB and any other government exams that you're writing for the states or central level. All right. So the English is going to be common. So this class is not just going to help for SSC people, it is also be going to helpful for everybody. So no matter who you are, share this with your friends and join the class so that you can learn English in a quick way, in an easy way, in a fun way, and also in an accurate way. All right, let us jump into it. So, what is the weightage? In SSC CGL Tier 1, you're going to have one or two direct questions. That means they're going to ask you directly either to change an active voice sentence to passive voice sentence or to change a passive voice sentence to active voice sentence. Okay, and similarly in Tier 2, you're going to have 4 to 6 questions. So in English, it's very, very important. Even these 1, 2 questions, 4 to 6 questions, these are very important. These can be the game changer for you. This score of 1 mark or minus 0.5 mark is going to be a game changer for you. So it is very important that you should not be afraid of English. You should embrace English and you should be able to challenge that. Okay, yes, I'm going to learn English properly. I'm going to crack this exam and I'm going to crack this job. All right. That should be your attitude. And when it comes to SSC HSL, there are going to be 1 or 2 questions in there too. And in bank exams, there questions are going to be indirectly given in the form of error spotting and sentence correction. All right. So let us get into the class. First, I need you to tell me what is the difference between these sentences. All right. See these sentences. Look at these sentences. The CM foisted the national flag on the Independence Day. On the Independence Day, the national flag was hoisted by the CM. The national flag was hoisted by the CM on the Independence Day. Now, is there any difference between the meaning of these three sentences? Is there? Is there? Let's find out. Okay. And let us see one more sentence. The cat is chasing the rat. The rat is being chased by the cat. Tom and Jerry, we all have our, I don't know about the current generation, but the previous generation, we all used to watch Tom and Jerry as children, right? Always Tom is chasing Jerry, and sometimes they become friends, right? So, anyway, the cat is chasing the rat, and the rat is being chased by the cat. What is the difference between these two sentences? Is there any difference between the meaning of these sentences, or is it just a structural difference between these sentences? Right? You need to decide upon that. All right. Now, let us go to the next one. What are the objectives of this class? What are we going to learn from this class? What are we going to achieve from this class? So, the first thing that we are going to achieve from this class is being able to identify the voice of a sentence. We are going to identify whether a sentence is in active voice or whether it is in passive voice. That is the first thing. If you're not able to identify whether a sentence is in active voice or passive voice, you're not going to be able to answer the questions. And you're also not going to be able to have normal English conversations if you're not able to convert active voice into passive voice. Right? It is very important for normal English conversations to know which sentence is in active voice and which sentence is in passive voice. All right. And next, we're going to be able to change the voice of a sentence. We should be able to change the voice. For example, a sentence is in active voice. We should be able to change it into passive voice correctly, accurately, according to the formula that we have. Formula not like mathematics, formula for English. English also has some formulas. English grammar has some formulas. English grammar has some rules, and we need to follow those rules to make our answers correct, to keep our language accurate. All right, fluent, to keep our language fluent. And we definitely will be confident enough to answer any kind of trick questions that the examiner is going to have for us to confuse us, because there is a lot of competition, because there are lakhs and lakhs of applicants every day for each and every job that is going on in India, that is being conducted, each and every exam that is being conducted in India. There is a lot of competition. So the examiner feels a huge need to filter out the candidates who have actually put in the effort, who have actually learned English, who are actually smart enough to find out the trick questions and answer them. All right, so we will be able to achieve that by the end of this class when it comes to active and passive voices. So what is active voice? What is the formula for active voice? In an active voice sentence, there will be a subject, a verb, and an object. Now you can ask, sir, what is a subject? What is a verb? What is an object? Let us see that. So what is a subject? The subject of a sentence does the action. It tells us who or what is doing the action. So subject is basically a noun. Let us say that your name is Rahul, the most common name in India. You throw a stone and it falls on a Rahul in India, right? So let us say that your name is Rahul and Rahul is watching this class. So Rahul is watching English class, right? That is a sentence. Now, what is the subject there? Rahul. Rahul is a subject because he is doing something. Okay, so Rahul is a subject. In the similar way, what is the verb? Verb is the action. In the sentence that we have just discussed, what is the verb? Watching. Rahul is watching. Rahul is watching the English class. So, watching is the verb there. And what is the object? Object is someone or something that receives the action, right? You must know in Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, but every action should have something or someone to receive it. You can't do actions emptily, right? So that is your object. All right. But remember, every sentence will have an object, but it does not necessarily need to have a subject. How, sir? How can a sentence be without subject? That also we will see in this class. So object is someone or something that receives the action. Rahul is watching the class is the object. Now, example here, George is eating an apple. Now I want you to note this sentence down, find out what is the subject, find out what is the verb, and find out what is the object. All right, next. See, here are the answers. Okay, next. Passive voice. What is passive voice? Okay, in passive voice, the object will be in front and the subject will be at the ending. Object will be at the beginning of the sentence, whereas subject will be at the ending of the sentence. So object plus be form plus V3 plus by plus subject is your passive voice sentence formula. You need to remember this very well. Whenever there is by plus subject, it is passive voice blindly, except for some cases which are tricky. Usually, when there is an action being done by someone, then it is definitely the sentence is definitely it is a blind code that it is a passive voice sentence. Okay, now let us go. Example, the car is being washed by its owner. By its owner. Immediately blind code. There is by its owner. So there is a subject and an action is being done by the subject. So it is passive voice. Immediately, even in your sleep, if you wake up and someone says, Okay, the work is being done by you. Who is the object here? You should be able to say you are the object, right? It is a very tricky sentence. Watch the video again, listen to the sentence again, and you will understand it. Okay. Now, what are B forms? B forms are basically verbs. B forms are basically verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, will be. All these are B forms. Being, been. You must have learned this in school, right? V1, V2, V3, V4. V4 is ing form, right? V1 is present tense. V2 is past tense. V3 is past participle, right? You must have learned all these things. So these B forms are also going to be in our passive sentences. All right, you need to remember these B forms. Okay, next, how to convert an active voice into a passive voice sentence, active voice sentence into a passive voice sentence. So this is the formula for what we have for active voice sentence, right? Subject plus verb plus object. You just need to change that. You need to put the object in the beginning. You need to add a B form. You need to add a V3, and you need to add by the subject. All right. That is how you convert an active voice into passive voice, and vice versa. You use the same formula to convert passive voice into active voice also. All right. You got it? Next. In passive voice, the focus is on the result and not the doer. You need to remember that. Doer is basically the subject, but in passive voice, the focus is on the result of the action or on the action, but not on the subject. Example, you remember the sentences that I have shown you in the first slide, right? The CM hoisted the national flag on the Independence Day. The Independence Day, the CM, the national flag. Why? Why are we adding the? Why are we adding the? What nouns are these? These are proper nouns. That is why we are adding the in front of. The is an article. Articles is a different class. We are going to deal with that later. But right now, you need to know that you need to use the in front of all these three words. The CM hoisted the national flag on the Independence Day. Active voice. The flag was hoisted by the CM on the Independence Day. That is passive voice. The meaning should not change. The tense should not change. Okay, if it is happening in the present, it should be happening in the present in the active voice and passive voice. If it has happened in the past, it should have happened in the past in active voice and in passive voice. Understand? The tense should not change, but the verb is a bit tricky, but you will get to it. All right. Next, the rat is being chased. The cat is chasing the rat. Now here you can see that in the first sentence, the rat is being chased. I did not add the subject. There is no subject there at all. Why isn't there a subject? Because it is an obvious sentence. Who is going to chase a rat? Are we going to chase rats? Are we going to chase rats? No, we are not going to chase rats. Dogs might not chase rats, but it is obvious, it is a universal fact that cats chase rats. Cats hunt rats. So when a rat is being chased by a cat, you can just say the rat is being chased. And if someone says by who, then you can laugh at them, obviously by a cat. But when you're talking about the cat, then it becomes active voice. Then the cat is chasing the rat. All right. Next, practice questions. Let us get into the practice questions. We need to be able to, in the exam, we will have only 20 seconds. We need to be able to answer them quickly. But here, since you're learning right now, we are going to go a little bit slow, and I'm going to show you how to answer each and every question. The first question, convert the sentence from passive to active voice. All right. So what is the question? Every passing vehicle was being thoroughly checked by the guards. That is the sentence that has been given to us. Now, you can either go through all the options. Fatafat, the guards were thoroughly checked every passing vehicle. The guards have thoroughly checked every passing vehicle. Every passing vehicle were thoroughly checking the guards. The guards were thoroughly checking every passing vehicle. You can fatafat read all the options, and immediately, if you have really good knowledge in English, you will know that the answer is the guards were thoroughly checking every passing vehicle. Because if you have really good conversational English, it will come naturally to you that you will understand, okay, these sentences are wrong, all the options except for the D are wrong, so the answer is D. But if you don't know, if you are not fluent in English, or if you are not well versed in daily conversations in English, then you need to check some things. What are the things? Let us see. The girds were thoroughly checked. Every passing vehicle. So checked. The girds were checked? No. The vehicles were being checked. The guards were not being checked. So the first option is wrong. Next, the guards have thoroughly checked every passing vehicle. Here there is have form. So when there is a have form here, you need to check in the main sentence. Was there a have form in the main sentence? Every passing vehicle has been thoroughly checked by the guards? No, it is every passing vehicle was being thoroughly checked by the guards. So there is no have form. So that is also not the right answer. Next, the third question, every passing vehicle were thoroughly checking the guards. That is also wrong because it is saying that the vehicles are checking the guards. But usually the guards are the one checking the vehicles, right? So they put the stick with the mirror under the vehicle and check if there are bombs in it, right? So that is also wrong. Next, the guards were thoroughly checking every passing vehicle. Now, this is the right answer, right? Why? Because it follows the rules of active and passive voice, and the B form here is correct. The guards were. Guards is plural, so were is also plural. If it is only a singular guard, then it would have been was. All right. Next question. Convert to active voice. The main gate of the building was being guarded by gun-toting guards. If you go to any army base in Kochi or in Delhi or in Chennai or in Vizag, in Navy base in Vizag, Navy base in Kochi, you can see that all these Navy bases and army bases are guarded by gun-toting guards. You'll see those tall soldiers, holding AK-47s, and they'll be standing there strongly, proudly, right? So these are gun-toting guards. The main gate of the building was being guarded by gun-toting guards. Gun-toting guards were guarding the main gate of the building. That is option A. Option B, gun-toting guards have been guarding the main gate of the building. Option C, the main gate were guarding gun-toting guards. See, when you come to option C, you can directly say it's the wrong answer because the main gate was not guarding the guards. The guards were guarding the main gate. Next, option D, the gun-toting guards guarded the main gate of the building. All right. Now, the main gate of the building was being. So there is a continuous tense. You need to check which sentence has the continuous tense, ing form. So only option A and option B have ing form. Option C also has ing form, but its meaning is wrong. And in option B, you have form, whereas in the main sentence, you don't have the have form. So option A is your answer. All right. Let us go to the next question. Convert to active voice from passive voice. The crop was adversely affected by the inadequate rainfall. Speaking of rainfall, it is raining right here, right now. I don't know whether you can hear the rain or not. I am trying my best to be loud so that you can hear my voice. Okay. The crop was adversely affected by the inadequate rainfall. That means a drought. If there is no rainfall, it is called a drought, right? The crops cannot grow. There will not be enough food for people, and people sometimes might die of starvation. So the government will reduce the prices of the food ingredients so that people can have some food to eat. As a government officer, you need to know all these things. All right. So the adversely rainfall has affected the inadequate crop. So this one has form. So it is immediately wrong. There is no has form in the question given. The inadequate rainfall adversely affected the crop. Okay. Now, in this sentence, it seems like a right sentence, doesn't it? Let us see the answer. See, it is that. Right? The inadequate rainfall adversely affected the crop. Now, let us see why option C is the wrong answer. The inadequate rainfall was adversely affecting the crop. Now, there is an ing form in this sentence. So, we need to check whether the main sentence that is given to us also has ing form. Does it have ing form? No. So, here also we should not have ing form. Option D, the inadequate crop adversely affected the rainfall. The crop does not affect the rainfall. The rainfall affects the crop. So here the meaning of the sentence has changed, right? The object and subject have reversed their roles. So again, it is a wrong answer. Next, convert from active to passive voice. Here they are going to give us active voice. We expect good news. Whenever a couple is married, people keep asking them, are you expecting good news? Are you expecting good news? Whether to ask whether they're going to have a baby or not, right? Very nosy, especially Indian people, Indian elders, especially very nosy. So then if they are expecting good news, then they can say, Yes, yes, we are expecting good news. We expect good news. You know, so good news was expected. Good news is expected. Good news should be expected. Good news must be expected. Now, here we expect good news. In the answers, they have removed the subject. Subject is we. They have removed the subject and they have given you only passive voice answers. So you need to identify which tense the sentence is. The sentence is in simple present. We expect good news. So the passive voice also should be in simple present. Good news is expected, right? That is the answer. Now, this is convert from passive to active voice. This is going to be a very tricky question. Many things may be accomplished by a little effort. Now, this is a passive sentence. Now, according to our formula, after by, it should be the subject. But here they gave a little effort. So is the phrase by a little effort referring to the subject, or is it just an additional phrase that has been given to us to confuse us? Right? In exam, we need to able to make this decision very quickly. Here, you need to identify immediately that by a little effort is a additional phrase that has been given to confuse us, and it is not the subject. So there is no subject given here, so you just assume a subject. They may accomplish many things by a little effort. They may accomplish many things. They may accomplishing many things by a little effort. There is no ing form in the main sentence, so this is the wrong answer. They may accomplish many things by a little effort. This you can use as an answer, okay, because it is in future simple tense and it can be the answer. Option C, one might accomplish by little effort many things. Option D, one might accomplish many things by little effort. So option D is obviously wrong. So it should be option B or option C, right? Let us see what's the answer. The answer is option B. They may accomplish many things by a little effort. Okay. Many things may be accomplished by a little effort. One might accomplish, one may accomplish. You need to have may there, right? They have may in the sentence. So you should not change the tense of may either. So one may accomplish many things by little effort would also be a right answer. See, this is a very tricky question. They were trying to trick you, and you should be very actively focused to answer these questions, these kind of questions. All right. Now, what is the conclusion? Let us come to the conclusion of this small class. So, passive voice always highlights the result, whereas active voice always highlights the energy. It adds energy to the sentence. It adds emphasis to the sentence. It adds emphasis to the subject of the sentence. So, you should be able to choose wisely. Do not be afraid of English language. Look at me, how I'm speaking English language right now. I had a 96 percentile in in BARC in CAT exam, and I scored 62, no, 65 out of 72 in CAT exam, right? And when I went for school admissions in my childhood, my school correspondent asked me to take a chocolate. The correspondent simply said, "Take this chocolate." And I looked at my dad and I said, "Nana, ఏం చెప్తున్నారు? Papa क्या बोल रहे sir जी ने?" Right? I didn't know any English. నాకు इंग्लिश వచ్చేదే కాదు. I couldn't, मुझे इंग्लिश पता ही नहीं था. ठीक है, मैं कोशिश करके सीख के प्रैक्टिस करके बार बार प्रैक्टिस करके पदे पदे प्रैक्टिस చేసి I learned it, నేర్చుకున్నాను. मैं सीख लिया. आप भी सीख सकते हैं, जरूर सीख सकते हैं. इंग्लिश कोई डरने का बात नहीं है. ఇంగ్లీష్ ని చూసి భయపడాల్సిన అవసరమే లేదు. Okay, you can learn it very easily, and it is very you can learn it smartly, easily, if you practice really well. And the more you speak in everyday conversations, the more you will learn. Speak with your English faculty in English language. Speak with your classmates in English language, because you are going to communicate with your officers, fellow officers in English language. This is not the olden days anymore where you can just have an excuse saying that, oh, I don't know English language, like that. Okay. And forget all the language wars. Okay. Mother tongue is important. Only when you have a proper grip on your mother tongue, you can learn English. So learn your mother tongue sideways, and also keep a strong hold on your English language skills. Okay, English language is very important if you want to communicate with people from other states, if you want to communicate with the central government. More circulars will come in English language, in very professional language, in very legal language. You need to be able to understand that, you need to be able to implement that, you need to be able to explain it to the local populace. right? So you need English. English is very important. There is a reason why they have put English in these exams. Okay. All right. Next, I have a very fun tip for you. Many of you might have Netflix or Hotstar or Geo subscription. So you can watch series like Modern Family or Friends or Big Bang Theory. And while watching this series, use subtitles. This is going to help you a lot. You are going to take some breaks while you're studying. You're going to take some breaks while practicing. And in those breaks, you can utilize it to learn some more English by just watching this series. They are quite fun. They are beautiful, and they're mostly white people, but we can relate to them. They are very fun, about friendship, about family, about science, and use subtitles or watch documentaries. If you want to watch documentaries, use subtitles. You can learn a lot of grammar from. All right, and I hope you're all going to do very well in your exams, and I wish you all the best. All right, thank you. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and goodbye.